All right, guys, welcome to the Sassy podcast. This is episode 7. We have some guests with us today. You guys met them last week. Khadijah's here again. Hey, Khadijah.
Hello, hello, hello.
How you doing, girl?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And we got Greg again, our businessman. How you doing, Greg?
Good. What's good with y'all?
All right, guys. It's a new day, new week. It's Wednesday. So, right now, today we're gonna talk about with our Sassy Talk segment, we're gonna jump in with mentorships versus prodigies. And by that I mean uh well, we're gonna break down what mentorship is to us and also what a prodigy is, like what that entails of bringing up a prodigy. And we're just gonna break all of that down. So, what is mentorship to you guys? And then I'll give my, spiel.
I think from a business owner perspective, a prodigy is somebody you want, to come up within your company
Mm-hmm.
more so. Um, as far as a mentor, you don't mind if they stay or leave, but you want to see them do well regardless.
Okay.
So,
Mm.
Okay, I like some of those key words that were used, the
I-
regardless with the mentorship.
Yeah, I think that's a good point for the prodigy. You want them to stay with you. You don't want them
There
to
you go.
leave. I agree with that. I think I don't really have a set definition of a mentorship, but I think they should be somebody that's a great leader and willing to guide you and, talk to you not just about the work, but also outside of life as well. I think that's the part of being a mentor. That's why they don't really care if you stay with the company.
Mm-hmm.
However, if somebody's your prodigy, you want them to stay there. So you're not really. I feel like with prodigies, a lot of time people don't really concern themselves with their personal life.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so in the business and a mentorship. And a mentor would be more like somebody that's like in a holistic type of.
Personal setting.
Yeah.
I hear you. And I agree with that. That's basically the breakdown for me as what it is. They both use great words and points. So mentorship for me is more so it's an intimate relationship between you and someone who is somewhere where you want to be or where you want to go. So they're guiding you genuinely to teach you, like you're gonna actually learn things about life and where you're trying to go career wise. And a prodigy is more so somebody who, is bringing you up. Well, the prodigy is the person who's being brought up, but someone who is prodigizing you, I think, would be someone who is looking for benefits out of that situation. It's not genuine. They don't necessarily always care about, like you said, your personal life and things like that. They're more so they see your talent and they know what it is and they know what it could do and they know that they can build it up. So they take advantage of it. So as we, talk about that and break it down, I feel like it brings us to the point of the difference between like clout chasing and just general admiration. So I just wanted to know, like, how do you guys feel the best way to reaching out to a mentor would be? Because being a mentee, you would, be very genuine in your admiration toward them. But if, you're someone looking to be a prodigy, you're looking for someone who's going to take you up to where you could be because you have that talent. So what do you guys feel is the best way to go about looking for a mentor and the best way to go about looking for a prodigy? I mean, or someone to prodigize you.
I think it's difficult looking for a mentor because so many people think you want something from them
Mm-hmm.
and they only focus on, well, a lot of people just focus on what you want from them
Mm-hmm.
rather than looking at it as like a fair trade.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can, but I guess in a mentorship, it wouldn't really be a fair trade. I don't know. It's been difficult for me because I don't have any mentors at the moment. Because I just, it's like, how do I approach you to where you're not like, oh, you just want this, or to a point where you're telling me I need to do certain things that I'm not comfortable with or things that I know don't even fit in the grand scheme of what I want to do.
Right.
So for me, it's been really difficult just sitting down and talking to people about it because I haven't met anybody.
Okay, well,
At the moment.
and then how about you yourself? How do you feel?
I feel like really to kind of find a mentor, you want to be in an environment where something that you want to do, or
Mm-hmm.
like try to go to meetings that involve what you're trying to do in, or because usually it's an older and a younger type of thing
Mm-hmm.
situation. So um, I think for clout, people go for do the clout thing, because who got money, and who can have them looking good for the moment. But to really find a mentor, I just say, try to go to things that involve in the field that you're trying to
I
be
agree.
in.
I definitely agree. When you're when you brought up going to the environment is very important because you're not going to find someone who really wants to mentor you on IG. If you're just looking at these people's posts and their pictures and what they're posting on social media, that's their social media facade. So you're not getting the real. So if you're looking at that, then you're cloud chasing. I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you're, like Greg mentioned, out at a seminar, a business seminar, because you want to be an entrepreneur and you heard someone speak and they really inspired you, and you feel like it's your due diligence, your duty to approach that person and make sure you get as much information or whatever help you're seeking or you can get. That's more so on a where you're gonna find your mentor. That's where you're gonna get the mentorship relationship from. So I definitely agree with that. So
But what about when you're in? Because I've been in situations where I've been in the same room with these people and I've talked to them. We exchange contact numbers or contact information. But how do you get to the point where you're like, where you can talk to them and they're like, okay, yeah, I'll mentor you, or do you just come straight out and say, I need a mentor. Can you be my mentor? Because a lot of people that I've spoken to, they're like, I'm busy. Like I don't have time to help somebody in this career field. Or a lot of people see a lot of potential in you and they get threatened by it, so they don't want to be your mentor.
I think both of those are okay. Then that's just not the person you like. If you're looking for a mentor, you don't want either one of those. You don't
Right.
want someone to tell you no because they're intimidated by you. You don't want them to tell you no because they're too busy or whatever. Because then they missed out. Like, I don't. Yeah, I don't think that matters in that aspect. I don't know about you.
I think you sometimes gotta push the agenda, because um, some people don't take you serious for a while. So sometimes you gotta let people know, like, and you gotta be assertive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that, hey, I'm really trying to do this, and sometimes you gotta, hey, can I just ride with you?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Can I just see how you do this or how you do that, just to gain the knowledge? Because really, if you're if you're not clout chasing, then you're really there for the knowledge. So
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you willing
um,
to do whatever to get it.
yeah, so but like I said, if you clout chasing, then you don't really care. You just there for the.
So,
For the
what's the
vibes.
definition of clout chasing, though? Like, give us your definition of clout
I
chasing.
feel like clout chasing is someone who's just doing it for because it's the wave, or they trying to make a name through themselves. Not necessarily doing it for the right reasons as
Right.
well. So
Yep.
um, it's a lot that comes with clout chasing. So
Yeah, I
you
think it's a
got
lot of
folks who
degrees to
yes,
it.
a
Yeah,
lot of
different levels.
degrees. So it's different levels of it.
Do you have any people that, do you think there are people that are like, oh, yeah, I see what he's doing, I'm trying to get on that, but they're not genuine with it and they don't come? Do you have people that are clout chasing
Oh
you?
yeah, for sure.
I know Greg got that.
For sure.
I already know
I
it.
just don't really. I mean, I know nobody be really serious, because it takes a lot to really. You got to do a lot of certification. You got to be, what I'm saying, really on your shit. So
Mm.
um, you really just gotta ignore it. I catch you at the gambling game, or what I'm saying, something
Yeah.
like that. But don't come to me talking about you want to do what I do, and you ain't took no steps to do it. So
Yeah, okay, because that was my next question. I was gonna ask you like, how would you deal with someone that approached you on some like, hey, Greg, I see you out here working. Like, I'm trying to be like you. Like, in those words exactly. I don't know about you, but I probably with those words exactly, I would have said the same thing. Like, catch you at a gambling game later, something like that. But
yeah,
if they were like, you know, I want to hop in the car with you, ride with you, learn like this and that. Like, how would you go about? Would you take that on, or like knowing that someone genuinely wanted to learn something?
Yeah, definitely, because I mean, I'm not in competition with you. I want to see everybody win, to be
Right.
honest. So, especially black people in general,
Right.
like
Right.
win, black people win, like
Right. Go, my black people.
go do
Right.
your thing. You want to
Right.
be great, like so. I feel like just like other cultures, they do it. They don't
Mhm.
think twice about it. So,
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, yeah, of course. I had somebody actually try to mentor me,
Yeah,
to be honest,
that's dope.
and he just said, hey, I see what you're doing, and I like it, and
Mhm.
we should talk weekly about how we can better your company and better you. So,
That's dope.
um,
So, do y'all feel like mentorships often come from people watching what you do, or should you actively be looking for a mentor?
Mm.
Because I feel like in that situation where you said the guy saw you, I feel like a lot of times, because when I was in the military, the way I got my mentor um, with the work that we were doing was she saw me and was like, I see how hard, the same thing, like, I see how hard you work. I want you to take this further. When you get out of the military, let me teach you some things. So, do you think like I said, do you think they see you or you should pursue them? And
um,
which one do you think is more effective?
I mean, sometimes people just see your character, and you know, they be like, they all in for it, or
Right.
then you might meet somebody that you honestly don't know. So, um, it really just comes to each his own situation, because like I said, sometimes people see your character, and they see that you
Work
willing to work,
ethic.
and
Mhm.
then some people just don't know you. So,
Mhm.
like I said, you got to be assertive with them, and like,
That's facts.
What do you
and
think?
Let them. I feel like. Well, what's the question?
Should you pursue the mentor or should you just let them pursue you?
I feel like if you pursue the mentor, a lot of the times when we do that, we're not always ready to take that on, like all the work, like sometimes, like a lot of times that you're just looking to do this, but you're not really aware of what it really takes.
Right.
So I think it could backfire, but I don't think that there is a should in that sentence. Like, I think it could go either way. Like, if I was in a business setting to where like I was around people that inspired me and I knew that I could learn something from them just from a conversation or whatever, like I'm gonna do whatever I can to try to have that conversation and try to take that conversation further. Like, not because of clout chase, just because like I genuinely like want to be where they are and I admire what they got going on and how they did it. So I want to learn. But yeah, I feel like if I'm the one who looked for it, it would kind of. I mean, if somebody came to me though, excuse me, then yeah, that's off rip. Like you're doing what you were supposed to do.
Right.
So yeah, it's not a shit for me. Um, well, so on to okay, so I was just wondering then, what do you so I've found myself in situations of like networking or whatever where sometimes I am intimidated by the room that I'm in, like maybe that you have to just be on point with your pitch with whatever you say, like your first impression, like whatever questions that they ask you, you just know that it has to be a certain way for it to take off the way that so I feel like that pressure interferes with my interaction during networking events sometimes. So how do you like go about um avoiding that feeling, that unconfident feeling, without with accepting the no's and accepting the yeses? Like you could get a yes, but you could also get a no, and still, how do you be okay with it still and still be able to keep doing it?
I think for me, the pressure is like motivational. Like it makes me want to be in the room and talk to more people
Mm.
because it's like, what other chance would you have gotten to be in this room?
Mm-hmm.
So why waste it?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in the room, I met a CNN reporter, and I was like, why would I just be in here and sit here like, oh, okay, hi,
Yeah.
I was like, no, actually, I do write for the paper. I wrote the front page story this week, and showed him what I wrote. So it's like being in that situation, I feel like the pressure should make you want to just go harder.
Mm-hmm.
You should like when you get nervous, you should, instead of saying, oh, I'm nervous, you just got to switch your mindset.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, I'm nervous, be excited to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when would I have met you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, on the street at McDonald's? No.
Yeah.
Like, take that opportunity and just go hard in there and make sure anytime that you know you're going to these places, you come prepared. Because if you're in that room, you need that you need to be prepared.
That's true.
Preparation. Somebody said something about preparation meets the call. Something like that. Preparation, hard work.
That's a good.
You get
that's
the call.
Good.
It's something like that.
I know.
That's a good reference.
Right.
Okay, so that makes sense. What do you think?
I feel like everywhere you go, you should feel like you supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I feel like if you go in there with that attitude, then it kind of take a little weight off your shoulder because when people can tell when you're nervous, people can tell when this is your first time. So when you go in there like, hey, I'm supposed to be there. Not saying you got to be too cocky, but
right.
feel like you the shit because you got it. You made it this far, so you might as well.
That's gonna be.
They invited you for a reason, so
Yeah,
go in there
Very
with
true.
that mindset. Like, you're there for a reason. If you weren't meant to be there, you wouldn't be there.
That's very true. I get it. Yeah, I don't just be like running hot in the corner, but
I get you.
sometimes you pick at the situation and think like, damn, I should have said this different, or I could have did this different, or and then it could just stump my performance when it comes to next situations or whatever. But yes, I am working on that, so that's good.
That's good though. I mean, for me, I'm working on the after the fact, like after I met you, because for me, it's a lot of times, like I said, I get in the room and I'm like, that's my shine time. Like,
right.
Oh yeah, what's up? But for me, afterwards, I'm like, dang, how do I know when to reach out to you and say, hey, what's up? Like, I met you here, because I've done it a couple times, and then people have just been like, yeah, all right. Or they just don't email me back. We never link up from the time we were like, yo, like, I even set a date with somebody, never showed up. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not looking for a mentor. Don't nobody approach me. I'm going to wait for y'all to see me and go from that point. So for me, it's the reaching out afterwards, because it's like, okay, they'll say all these great things when you're in the room, but then when you leave, it's like, nah, girl, you got too much fire. You know what I mean? So I'm like, fuck y'all, I ain't looking no more.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah, so relatable. That's exactly what I was explaining. So we didn't talk about basically when it comes to clout chasing, on just like how we bash each other kind of with that word, how we can kind of make each other feel uncomfortable with, just for the simple fact that we even have to ask this question or have this conversation. Like, I think it comes from us putting out that energy on each other. Like, for example, if I see someone social media on it again on IG or whatever, and I like the outfits they post, and they post often weekly, and I'm always commenting on their outfit like, oh girl, you look cute, blah blah, like they might say thank you, but then they could shade you on the side, like
you dick riding.
Yeah, basically.
That's what
like
people say.
So like, how do we separate the two? Basically, is that dick riding? Because like say I do comment on their picture every week, like, because I see that, or I post it to show everybody else, like, this girl gets dressed every week, she doing a damn thing. Like,
I think in that sense, that's not dick riding. I think in that situation, that's you being a supporter, like a great supporter. I think a lot of people appreciate that. I think it's people from the outside looking in, constantly seeing you post. People, and it's a lot of people who don't even post on other people's shit that say stuff like this. It's people who sit on the outside and watch you. Exactly. They watch you interact because they know it's a possibility for you to possibly get in a situation where they're like, oh, yeah, you like all my clothes and I see what you're doing with clothes. Now I'm going to put you on because you've been a supporter. So I think it comes from a lot of people on the outside being like, I wish I was there. I wish I could do that. When all it really takes is for them to just stop hating and support.
So how do we avoid the competition thing behind it? Like, because that creates a instant competition, energy thing, and that's all full circle. If you ask me,
what?
Like, when you approach somebody on a situation like that, so say you have a clothing line too, but you keep going at this girl, like telling her like how great she's doing with hers that she just started or something like that. Like, then some people have that mindset where it's like, oh, like, she got a clothing line too, like, I gotta up her, like, going doing this or blah blah, like doing that. Like,
I think to get out of the competitive mindset, you got to understand that it's easier to work together.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if I have a clothing line, my focus may be, you know, oh, okay, I made a clothing line for single moms so they can look cute and classy and
Mhm.
don't have to worry about this. Okay, you made drawers for the single women. You can put those together.
Yeah,
So I feel like if you can get out of the competition if you just work together and communicate with each other.
exactly. Thank you. I agree. I just had to get that, opinion from other
What do you
people.
think?
I think like saying, you know what I'm saying, everybody can win, so
Right.
and that's the goal is to win. So if you we got to get out the mindset of as people like other cultures how they just it's never clout don't even exist in their
Yeah.
vocabulary. Like
Right.
it's all to come together to make money. So
Mhm.
if that's not the goal, then that's when the clout chasing I kind of get, I guess,
In play.
get in play, and they trying to just do it for the followers or the
Do it for the gram.
for the shout out.
Yep.
I
That's
think
true.
though we also have a negative idea of the word competition because competition could push you. Like if I have my clothing line, you have yours. You could be like, oh, okay, I see I'm a one up. I made 3,000 this month. Oh, okay, you made 3,000. I made this much. Oh, okay, and then let's see how much we can make
And that's
together,
what I'm
and then we
saying.
can keep pushing
It
each other. So you
usually
can have
stops
positive.
at that. Oh, this person's making that much. This person's making that much.
Right.
So that's why I was wondering, like, how do you avoid that competition part? Because after you get into, like if somebody's doing something that I'm doing and I'm admiring them, and I'm seeking their information or whatever, some people feel like they don't want to share that information, like because I can use that to surpass them, basically, like.
Right.
So, and I don't think we should be that way. Like, I think we do need to get out the mindset of everybody can't win.
Yeah, we're too focused on people passing us.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're too focused about how full somebody else's plate is getting, to the where we don't even realize our plate is like damn near empty because we're so like, oh dang, she got this, she passed me, da da da.
Right.
Empty where that bitch is full, and you just not even paying attention.
Right.
But okay, so we can really wrap that one up. I think I got all my questions answered. Um, so your challenge this week, guys, your Sassy challenge is to find. Okay, so let's just break this down. I feel like we look at our idols often, and those are the people who we admire, or like just the people you see in the light. I want us to like go to our local librarian or the old lady you see at the grocery store, like just start being kind to people and just talking to them, like say hi, how you doing, start a conversation, see where it goes, just to learn like what those people's character are, what it is, and like what their story may be or how they could help you, because it's not just Beyonce's and
Right.
Cardi B's and things that we should aspire to be. That lady could have been who you want to be, and she just works at the grocery store right now. That's just what she wants to do, to chill as an old lady.
Or it could be part time.
Whatever it is. Like, I want us to go out and find like a local leader that we could find admiration in, and pick their brains. You never know what could happen from that. So, and then also send us your tips on how to go about seeking people that you admire for information, and how to avoid the clout chasing the clout chasing stigma. So we're gonna give our closing social media stuff, and we're gonna start with Khadijah.
Khadija Ajay _ Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all that.
And then Greg's again, his business.
Premier Home Inspection, Sensei 5150, Sensei Gold House. So
Period, y'all. Okay, and it's on the last episode too. If y'all didn't hear those, say bye to our guests, and y'all have a great rest of your night. And I'll see you guys later.